in the middle of the craziness that is sport and helping our kids thrive at sport, how do we have rhythms which support our kids developing the values which we hold dear as a family and help us keep a deeply rooted connection as a family? Thanks for stopping by. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're watching this, I really appreciate you being here. If you're new, why don't you hit the subscribe button? I'd really appreciate that. So on this beautiful morning in Essex, just been reflecting as we try and plan our Easter holidays as a family on like what's really important to us. Our week is just like your week. It's mental. Every week is different. No week is ever the same. I vowed I would never be a taxi service as a parent. Guess what? I'm a taxi service. And so how do we have rhythms and values within that process as parents which support our values? Firstly, we have some weekly rhythms, we have some kind of monthly, termly rhythms, and we have some annual rhythms. And we tend to try and put those in. Now, I'm not saying you have to adopt what we do, but I'm just going to share what we do because I think it helps. I also want to be really, really clear. We are not like mega legalistic on any of these things. If something gets in the way or we're all just feeling a bit ill or tired or whatever, we ditch them. The first thing we do, because most of you know I'm a church minister as well as doing Non-Perfect Dad, is we have a lot of people through my house for different reasons because it's a church house. And so one of the things we started 10 years ago with our kids was something called special tea. It's not actually that special, it's just all the spreads on the table and their favourite crisps and things like that. But we called it special tea because for us it was basically no one else can come. It's just the Shorters, plus immediate family or really, really close friends. But nobody kind of, broader than that. So if you've ever been invited to special tea, you're on the special list. If you've never been invited to special tea, sorry, we're just not that close. But for us, it was really, really important that at least once a week, we try and eat around a table together as daily if we can, where clubs allow. But for one meal a week, it was just to be just us. So that's one of the weekly rhythms we have. The other weekly rhythm we have is we have 24 hours without a screen. Lots of people are like, oh, that sounds exciting. Let me tell you, my kids often hate it. But we think it's just really, really important for connectivity to each other and learning self-control. We start that on a Friday night, finish it on a Saturday evening. When we start it, we gather around the table and we write down in a jar what we're grateful for. We pray, we say thank you to God for that stuff. Obviously, you'll have your own spirituality, but we just want our kids to finish their week with gratitude. So we do some gratitude stuff with our kids. And then we finish no screen Saturday by watching some old school stuff. So at the moment we're going through the A-Team. I've got to tell you, trying to find something that all the kids can watch together is hard work, but the A-Team seems to tick all our comedy value boxes. But when they were younger, we went through like Fraggle Rock, The Muppets, Dogtanian, The Muppet Show, all those classics. Anyway, so that's another weekly rhythm that we try and have. And then I think we try and have some annual rhythms as well. So I will take each of my kids away camping on their own for a night, or once a year, and the kids get to decide, depending on the budget, what they want to do for that day. And do you know what, that has just been absolutely brilliant. So we've been fishing, we've been to castles, we've built mountain bikes, we've been to Covent Garden to watch the street performers. We've just done whatever the kids want to do. Sometimes they copy what the other did the previous years. We've been paintballing, we've been to the zoo, we've been done all sorts of things. But for me, as a dad, as a busy dad, that kind of connectivity and being able to have that rhythm is really, really important. So I've just shared three ways, and we've taken like nearly 4 minutes up in this video. Please don't feel you have to copy those, and please don't feel they're perfect, because they're not perfect. But the reason I share this is often I get a sense from parents that's just really, really difficult to juggle our values and what we're about as a family. And just look at your life, find ways of doing your values in the busy, hectic rhythm of family and sporting life. It's not easy, but I think it is possible. If you're really struggling, drop me a line. I will help you fit those in. But I think it's really, really important that we say, what do we do? We have a big project as a family. We're trying to walk the whole of the South Downs together. We started like 4 or 5 years. It's taking us forever, but our kids love it. And we're like, when are we going to do the South Downs again? It just fits in this little adventure that we do that tries to fit into the manicness of our diaries. I love it. I absolutely love it. I find it hard work to put in the diary, to be honest with you. Sometimes when it's in the diary, I'm like, oh, we're going to do that, and that's going to be tiring. But when we're there, I absolutely love it. Look, it's not easy in the busyness of modern sporting world to try and find quality time to instill our values in our kids, but we know that those values will ultimately help sculpt them to refine their potential into excellence. It will make them better sportsmen and women if we're able to keep these values going. What rhythms, what values do you have? I want to know. Put them in the comments box. I'd love to hear, because I'd like to steal some of yours, and let us know how you do it or where you struggle. Have a great day. Bye.